This week, we're bringing you an introspective episode of Big Boys as we dive into the hilarious world of animated sitcoms, as well as the talented voice actors who bring them to life, and just what these shows mean to us. And being intellectuals, we also discuss music and mathematics, all in this week's episode of Big Boys.
Prepare to be mesmerized and or mortified.
Well, what's happening there?
Old Sorrel's here had himself from that.
You son of a...
Yeah, clever. Kind of soft and only like in one ear.
I had a nickel for every time I heard that.
Look at those boys, ain't they
Big Boys with Brian Hickey and John the Great. Yo ho ho, Johnny boy.
Hey.
All right, episode 2, season 2. Doing good, feeling good. How about you?
I'm all right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, in regards to following up on our last episode, I did go to that premiere.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Good. I just saw actually about like an hour ago a little update from the old Rue boy that we won an award, which is weird because I didn't even know that they were like nominating people or anything. But we won the best mockumentary short.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's good. Yeah, and it was well received. So I wish there was more industry people about. But it was good to catch up with the other actors that were involved, and Rue and Olivia, who was a person I went to high school. You would have known her if that was the case. I went to college with Olivia. That's how I got involved in the whole project, and just got to catch up with them. And it was a fun, good time, man. Yeah. So all in all, good stuff.
Well, that's awesome. That's cool that you guys got an award.
Yeah, I mean it's like all awards are pretty ephemeral and only have as much meaning as you apply to them. But like it was just like an online notification that he got. You know what I mean? I don't think he's got like a plaque or anything. I think it was just like, hey, we awarded you this, but it's like there's not even like a physical thing to hold or to show. Yeah,
but it's cool to just be recognized sometimes. Like you said, it only means as much as I guess you really care about it, but
right.
Still, it's cool to just know that you're getting a little recognition on something.
Yeah, it was nice of them of the Marina Del Rey Film Festival to say, hey, we see you.
We see you
guys.
Yeah,
making efforts. Unlike old John Boy over there with his blurred background and terrible headroom.
Hey, man, it's just fine. You can see me just fine.
Yeah, it's there we go.
Phone's probably gonna fall over though.
Well, don't let that happen.
No, I can't reach it from here. Listen,
I mean,
just sit and like hold it.
Ladies and gentlemen, viewers, assuming that we don't have another round of technical issues, and you're going to be able to see the juxtapositions between my background and John's, and the level of thought that I put into trying to make it, appealing to the viewer.
Because I streamline the process. Work smarter, not harder. You can do all that, or you could click blur background. Problem solved.
Yeah, because this is same, right? It's like I'm looking at a real avant-garde.
Yeah, it's cool because now I am the focus. Like everything else it's quite literally blurred. Like your vision is on me. I mean, I'm even wearing a red shirt because it catches the eye.
You are literally the focus. Most specifically, your shoulders are the focus because your computer doesn't know whether or not to blur those out.
Yeah, see, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was the critique I was giving. It's so cool.
It is, yeah, man.
It doesn't look shoddy at all.
Where do I stop and the background begin? It's all one.
Certainly doesn't make me think like, am I putting too much effort into this?
I mean, that's a thought worth thinking. You know? I don't know what to tell you. Like,
Yeah, well, it seems to, you seem to find a way to have that be a recurring thought for me every time we meet.
yeah.
So kudos to you, John Boy. Kudos to you.
I've got, it's one of my skills.
Mm-hmm. As you're displaying advertisements for sponsors we don't have. The Buffalo
Oh yeah,
Wild
I'm playing
Wings.
with a gift card. It was just on my desk.
Yeah. And what is that, a Ruby Tuesday shirt?
No, it's Riley's Tavern.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look like the specific clientele that they're looking to get at Red Robin,
Yeah. Well, and also, you can only see me from the waist up, but that begs the question: am I wearing pants? Am I not wearing pants? Viewers will never know.
You know what? And I'd like to never know as well, because
Yeah.
the thought didn't enter my mind until you just mentioned it, but I know that it's about a 50-50 shot.
Yeah. Yeah. You roll the dice, to be honest. Only I really know.
Yeah, let's keep it that way. It's nice to give a certain level of mystery to
Yeah.
these things,
That means if I move, I'm going to have to mute the camera, like turn it off. Otherwise, that'll give it away.
Exactly.
We should start a poll amongst our viewers. Like, was John wearing pants? Yes or no?
I feel like the feedback is going to be about 50-50. And you know what? The audience is starting to get a grasp of you as a person. You're a real wild card.
Yeah, they'll be like, I don't know.
Yeah. So what's this concert you're going to? Uncle Cracker?
Uncle Lucius.
Uncle Lucius, one of the uncles.
Yeah. Uncle Lucius is a group, not an individual. It's kind of like Marshall Tucker Band. There is no Marshall Tucker,
Oh man, but Led Zeppelin, though, I love that guy. There's no denying. Yeah. He's the best of all the. I didn't realize. Yeah,
absolutely.
See, that throws me off. I thought for sure Uncle Lucius was an uncle to someone, because the Marshall Tucker Band, I kind of get that, or Def Leppard. Like those are two words that are put together that can also, if you don't know much about the bands, like seemingly it could sound like it's one person, but also it's like, oh yeah, Marshall and Tucker, that's clearly two names put together to sound like one. Whereas Uncle Lucius, uncle is a title generally given to someone who is a singular person. You never hear the word uncle singular describing more than one person, other than in a band. Would you agree?
Yeah, but Marshall Tucker sounds like a name.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the subtle distinction, though, is like, I guess, okay, well, with, you know what? I guess Marshall is a title as well, but I didn't think that this band was led by a U.S. Marshal.
A U.S. Marshal. Yeah. They all got badges that they come out on.
Yeah. He's got a very distinct look, similar to that of, oh, hell, what the hell? I almost said Wesley Snipes, but that is definitely not correct. Old Tommy Lee Jones. He's got a very distinct look.
Although Wesley Snipes was in that movie, wasn't he?
He was in the second one. Yes, he was in. That's probably why I was getting the mix up there. He was in.
I think it was called U.S. Marshals.
Was it? Okay, because the first one is with
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford. Which
one was that? The Fugitive.
That was The Fugitive. Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the second one is U.S. Marshals.
Yeah, and then you got Robert Downey Jr., who I always forgets in that as well.
Because
he's the real bad guy.
That might have actually still been having drug problems, Robert Downey Jr.
Oh yeah. That was definitely of the.
That was like late 90s.
Yeah, that was definitely of the Simpsons era of that joke they did.
That's still one of the best bits.
Yeah. What is it like? Oh, look, there's Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. is filming a movie. Right now he's having a shootout with the police, and you see him like shooting back and forth. And it's like, I don't see any cameras.
Oh, Simpsons.
Yeah.
How they have shaped and molded our humor.
Dude, they're still pretty funny. I get it. The golden years or quote unquote golden years of the 90s are gone, but like they're still pretty funny.
I feel like The Simpsons is, with these animated shows that have been around long time, like people don't give as much leeway as for like a show like SNL. You know what I mean? Like where it's just like it's understood that SNL is like generally like your favorite cast is around the time that you were in high school or college and you're just starting to get into it.
Yeah.
Whereas like I love The Simpsons. Like when I was in high school, like and Family Guy as well. Like it's not that I dislike it now. It's just that I my taste have changed. Like I don't know, man. Like I feel like there's very few shows that like have kept my interest for multiple decades of like the only exception I would say is like South Park, but I would argue that South Park like their content and their humor has evolved as well over the decades. Like if you look at like early couple seasons of South Park, vastly different show than what the stuff they make today.
Yeah, they've evolved a lot, not to mention just the way they do production with the whole 6 days to air. Like
Right.
they're able to stay very current. Like a lot of their episodes are very topical about like what's actually currently going on.
Yeah.
And so they always feel fresh and relevant.
Exactly. And like
Yeah.
again, I haven't really kept up with any like Family Guy or Simpsons probably since like high school or maybe like, freshman year in college. But like, like there was still like that still definitely shaped a lot of like my humor where I still probably like of course now that I'm trying to make a reference of it, it escapes me, but I know I like make little references like from the old episodes of Family Guys like all the time
Yeah.
throughout my adult life. Like everyone still does the Cool Whip or with the
Oh,
saying
yeah.
W weird. That's not even one that I use a lot. Actually, I'm just trying to think. Like I'll probably remember a
Everyone at least in like a certain age group still like gets that reference if you do the Cool Whip.
Yeah.
Like pretty much I would say anyone like within a few years either way of our age will get that.
Yeah. And like I don't know, I feel like it's tricky waters because like I'm such a huge fan of like South Park and like everything they do. And I know they had beef with Family Guy. And I also like even Seth MacFarlane himself is like kind of giving into like, yeah, well, they made a fair critique.
Yeah.
There was a period there where they kind of leaned heavily into the quick cut twos. And again,
Yeah.
I haven't like maybe they're still doing that. I haven't watched it in forever, but like yeah, I don't know. Like I could see how that could when you're trying to be more character driven story developments. Like I guess it feels like a cop out, but at the same time, I'm not gonna sit here and say like there weren't plenty of those that just made me laugh my ass off. Like I don't know, like the extended, but also I would argue that this one was more of a continued bit that was got funnier every time they did it, where it was Peter fighting the giant chicken.
Yeah, it just kept getting more and more ridiculous each time.
Yeah.
So that was like an ongoing bit versus like
just
like a random cut to.
Yeah, like what would Gary Coleman say about this? Or
Yeah, and then which a lot of times you could tell that was like literally they just think of something funny and be like, this is a funny little idea, but it's like we can't really make an episode based around that entire thing. It's like let's literally just throw it in there, like
Yeah, like so here's one, like the the slave owner, after finding out, like it's just another quick snippet, but it's undeniably funny. Of like once they find out that the slaves are free, and it's just the slave owner undoing the shackles of the slave, and just like, so we're cool, right?
Yeah.
It's so dumb, but it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Because I don't. Yeah, what else would you say in that awkward moment of like, well, yeah, this isn't going to come back to haunt me. Like, I don't know. It's it's juvenile. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily go along with like a full story, but still tickles.
A lot of that stuff, especially this was an early season episode, is actually like a lot of it's referencing other things. Like there was one, I think Peter was on the bench or whatever, on the stand at court or whatever, and he refers to something about like, was it the Wonder Years or one of those shows? It was like the one where Arnold and Dudley are molested by the guy who owns the bike shop, and it does a quick cut to that. But for some reason, like his version of it's like the guy bent over and he was like, now scream real loud at my ass. Like, and it's like, why? What? Yeah, but what's funny is he's referring to a real episode of that show. Was it the Wonder Years? What was the one that had what you talking about, Willis? That had Gary Coleman?
Oh, I can't think of it now that you're asking.
Yeah, but whatever that show was, and there was a real episode that dealt with that issue at the time, where they were like,
there was a kid, somebody trying to
one of the kids, I think it ended up being his friend Arnold, or whatever, was like molested by the guy who owned the bike shop or whatever. But like, I don't get where you came up with the part of like now scream real loud at my ass. But it's funny. Like, that's another one I still think about sometimes too. And like, you'll work in that joke here and there whenever the moment comes up in life or whatever. It's just now scream real loud at my ass.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's always going to be a soft spot, for those. Like I feel like they deserve, especially for still being on the air as long as they have been, like a little bit more leeway of like, clearly somebody's still watching it. As much as like network, as cutthroat as network television is, like, they would not just keep on putting it back up on the air if it wasn't.
Yeah, same with The Simpsons. Really, I mean, they're up to like renewed through like season 36.
Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I guess Fox could probably cancel that contract at any time, but
yeah. Well, there's a couple of years back, I was hearing that they were preparing for not a Family Guy TV movie, but kind of like along the lines of like the Simpsons route of like making a full-length, big budget animated feature for Family Guy.
Oh, that would actually probably do all right.
Yeah, but of course, the way that the media changed those, who knows? But I feel like this was a couple of years ago. I heard something about that.
I don't know. I wonder if the ship has kind of sailed on Family Guy, but then again, you never know because obviously people are still watching. It's got some sort of viewership because it's still on the air.
The only argument I would make for that is that like, because that's very similar. Like, the Simpsons movie didn't come out till like what, almost 2.5 decades later.
Yeah, it was like 18 years after the premiere.
Okay, yeah, but it was like the only argument I could say that they had in their favor was that was still 2006. Comedies were still big in movie theaters, where now it's like, everything.
Technology's changed a lot too, though. The internet the internet was around in 2007, but you didn't really have all the streaming services. You didn't really have, you didn't have social media, not like you've got it now.
Yeah.
Like things still just moved a little bit slower. You got to think the first like 15, maybe even the first 20 years of The Simpsons was like really still more of in like a dial-up world,
Well, even thinking about the movie of like, because I was still, keeping up with it at that time. Like the animation style of the movie was vastly different than what you were seeing on Fox. You know what I mean?
Oh, the quality was much higher. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd see that quite a bit. Family Guy, I feel like if they did a movie, though, they would push the boundaries a lot more. The Simpsons really weren't that much more edgy in the movie than they were in the show. Like, there was maybe a couple, like, extra curse words, but...
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, when the Family Guys did, like, their movies, or, like, the TV movies or whatever, they definitely did push the boundaries more with, like the blood and gore content aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like, killing Bugs Bunny and just, watching the life get throttled out of them.
They did the Star Wars spoofs, Blue Harvest and some of those. And then this was earlier in the Family Guy seasons again, but they did the Stewie, the Untold Story.
Yeah, I bought that one in high school, like our freshman year in high school.
Yeah.
That was a big deal then. And so, yeah, like I said, that was when they again, just a random cutaway of like, of just the more realistic version of a talking rabbit coming and chewing a carrot, walking up to a hunter, and like Elmer Fudd just blows him away right in the chest, and he's just slowly dying. It's so stupid and melodramatic.
Yeah, but it's just
yeah. So silly.
Yeah, but but what's weird about that? Maybe it's just where I have a soft spot for him, like you said. But it's like, I don't want to talk bad about it, but I find myself in sometimes like when you see like Family Guy's on Hulu, but I see myself kind of as being like, I don't really watch that much anymore, and it's like, but I'm still trying to go through all of the Simpsons episodes on Disney. I'm up to like season 30 or 31.
Yeah, with that, see, you're making that like a whole commitment, And I don't know if I don't want to put that much like effort into just like having to make it a homework assignment where I have to watch every episode
Well, it
of something that's
could
been
have been
around
done by
forever.
now, but that's one reason why is because
Yeah.
I mean, you get after a while, you want to watch something else, so you watch something else for a while.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. It's not like I'm still watching a shit ton of like adult animation, you know? It's not like I've grown up that much.
Oh yeah, same. But
Yeah.
I've moved on to other things, kind of like Rick and
Yeah.
Morty, but then again, I still have a soft spot for Futurama, and I'm excited for the reboot they're doing.
Are they doing another reboot of the reboot?
Yeah, this time it's going to be on Hulu. Like I think it's streaming. It's not going to be on TV. So I think it's going to be a Hulu original reboot of. I say reboot. I don't know how they're going to do it. I imagine it's probably going to kind of. It's going to almost be more like a sequel.
I'm
like
trying to think.
how it was
Yeah.
the first time.
Well, this is like you would know this. You're probably the biggest fan. But like, is this the third or the fourth reboot they've done? Because originally Fox, right? And then they had like some TV movies that they just kind of mashed together as
If you
as a
count the
so-called season.
movies,
Yeah.
they were straight to DVD. But if you count the movies, then this would be the fourth. If you don't count the movies, then yeah, it's the third.
Okay, so it went Fox, DVD movies.
Yeah.
And I want to say Comedy Central picked it up.
Comedy Central picked it up, and it ran for like another 4 seasons, I think. And then it went off again.
Oh, Comedy Central.
Yeah. And the comedy now, if you stream it on Hulu, the movies are just broken down into like what's the 6th season.
Right.
Yeah. Because there was like 3 of them. You had Bender's Big Score, Beast with a Billion Backs, and I want to say there was another one that I can't remember the name of.
Oh, and that guy's involved too, right? The guy who plays Bender. They didn't replace him.
No, I think they finally worked out a deal to get him back, because that would have been terrible if they had to replace him. I would have lost a lot of excitement for it.
Yeah, dude. Every time I think I'm, a decent voice actor, then I hear that guy's normal voice and how many odd different characters he does. Like, oh, okay, yeah, no, that's a real voice actor.
Yeah, that guy has. Am I frozen on your end?
No.
Oh, okay, I am showing it here, so I wasn't sure. Okay.
You're still good.
Okay, there it goes. It cut back up. Yeah, okay, so it was Bender's Big Score, Beast of the Billion Backs, Bender's Game, and then Into the Wild Green Yonder. So they had 4 straight to DVD movies between 07 and 09.
Boy, they were really expecting Ender's Game to be a bigger thing, huh?
I guess so.
Just didn't work out. That spoof. I mean, the spoof probably got more attention than the actual movie.
The game, I'm pretty sure that's more of like there's like a lot more like Dungeons and Dragons, like jokes and references.
Nice.
Dude, some of their humor in there. I mean, The Simpsons kind of does it too, but they can get a little bit more scientific with the with Futurama. But one that really cracks me up was and this is really in a scientific one where Fry gets the bone. He finds that egg and rescues it until it hatches, and it turns out to be a bone vampire. It's this like huge like lizard creature or whatever. Well, it's not huge; it's small, but it grows huge.
Oh, I don't know.
They're trying to identify what it even is at first, and he was like, I found a reference to the creature in this old. He was like a encyclopedia or whatever. He blows the dust off, and it's like a Gygaxicon. And he was like, just as I figured, attack type J. Which is funny. What's funny about that is Gygax, the Gygaxicon, Gary Gygax was one of the creators of Dungeons and Dragons, the board game.
Okay. Yeah.
And so that's what the reference is, and basically when they're reading about this creature that was supposed to be extinct, it looks like a D&D manual, and it's telling like a bone vampire, attack type J, and it tells you like what it is. Yeah.
Fucking nerd. Yeah.
Dude, but at the same time, like the writing staff of that collectively had, I don't know what it was, but like a lot of years at like Harvard and MIT.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a lot of the same writers from The Simpsons, right? So it's a lot of Harvard, National Lampoon grads.
Writing staff. Let me see if I can. Yeah, the writing staff held 3 PhDs, 7 master's degrees, and cumulatively had more than 50 years at Harvard University, which
Good
is pretty
God.
insane to be working on a cartoon.
Just like,
And
Yeah.
I guess the episode where they were where the professor made a machine that could switch their bodies,
mhm.
but they could only switch one way. So they had to figure out a way to get everybody back into their same body. And apparently the formula they came up with the show to do that, they were actually like featured in a math journal for coming up with that.
I guess it's a win in some regard, but if I'm writing comedy, I'd like to be featured in a comedy journal. I don't know. That's just me. Not to keep shitting on Futurama, but like, it was definitely like, that was definitely your show. Like, there were still definitely like funny, hilarious bits, but like, yeah, there was a lot of the stuff that went over my head. Like, anytime it was related to D&D. Every time I think of that show, though, I always think of and I don't even remember what the episode was about, but it was like that huge rock person, and just like, here, we shall now go through. Yeah, we shall now go through a series of tests. Test number 1: who can drink the most arsenic?
Yeah, exactly. And then when they're all like, "Oh, it was killed over in pain," it was like it's like inconclusive. It's like test number 2: who can drink the most sulfur?
Yeah.
Or the one where they're arguing for Proposition Infinity to legalize robosexual marriage, and everybody's like, "Oh, oh, oh!" And then the ghost, "Ooh!"
I had no idea.
And you know they did that only to just feeture that in there because
yes,
they were
now I
like,
remember, yeah.
they were like, every other type of relationship has been legified. They were like, like human and other human. They were like human and alien. He was like even horse and ghost.
Yeah.
So there's a ghost right there, and then I forget what they say.
Well,
But
it was like some kind of like the punchline was set up to where it was just obviously the ghost is going to say boo, but like as in like he disagrees.
Yeah,
but it was like, oh, that's
what it was.
Boo!
They were all boo, 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 and the ghost boo,
boo.
Honestly, that show, the more I think about it, is really well written. Like I think this is like a season 1 where they go to the moon, and the moon's been turned into an amusement park, and they've got the moon mascot, and he's wearing the costume. His head looks like a giant moon, and he's like, "I'm Crater Face."
Oh yeah,
and Bender's drinking a beer. So he said, "I'll have to confiscate your alcohol." And he's like, worst mascots than you have tried. Like jams the bottle in the mask. He was like, at least I still have my dignity. He just starts crying, but his face isn't moving. All you see is the mask with like a bottle shoved in it.
Yeah, I will agree that those have always been my favorite bits, where it's just like a huge setup just to pay off like the most immature stupid joke.
Yeah.
Boo.
Yeah.
That's coming back. That's good.
Yeah. That's one of those shows that I consider being in my bag. Like if there's nothing else on, you just need to watch something, or like maybe you want something like to watch kind of like while you're falling asleep, but you don't want it to be too distracting. It's like, throw Futurama on. Like,
all right. So that brings us to a new segment that I'm deeming now called "What's in John's Bag?"
Yeah. What's in his bag?
Got a little bit of Futurama in there. Some homework assignments for The Simpsons. What else are you watching these days?
Well, before it moved to Peacock, Parks and Rec was in my bag.
Yeah. What else?
King of the Hill.
Solid, dude. Yeah. Oh, and there is this one show that I've been watching on HBO Max that I think you should really get into. It's called Fired on Mars.
Okay, I'm not familiar with it.
And the only reason I said this is because it reminds me, like, the humor is, even though none of the, I thought for sure when I watched the pilot, it's like, oh, this has got to be like, Jesus Christ, what's his name? Creator of King of the Hill.
Oh, Mike Judge.
I was like, this has got to be like a new Mike Judge show, because like it's just got like something like that dry humor, which is like, I think like he does that so well on like animated shows that where like a lot of people don't really touch as much. But these guys do it too, and they do it really well. And it's got some of the same people that like Mike Judge has worked with in the past. Like it stars Luke Wilson is the main character, and he's pretty great in it. But check it out. It's Fired on Mars, and then Stephen Root has a small part.
Dude, Stephen Root's in everything. That guy's got the career to have.
Right? Yeah. Well, he's been at it forever too, you know?
If you ask me, don't get me wrong. I think we all would love, it'd be cool to be the leading man, big, star. But at the same time, I also think there'd be something really cool about an established character actor like Stephen Root. If you look around, that guy's in a bunch of stuff. Like he's in Barry.
Yeah. Well, dude, like practicality wise, like as like if you want to like just be an actor who just works all the time, and like you get to just do these awesome roles, and then you get to go home, like after what only, with the exception I would say of Barry, because he is more one of the bigger characters in that show. But like, his career, I would say even like maybe let's say like what 5 years prior to that, like you said, he was in everything, but like he was just popping up in all these awesome projects. But like, you get to come on set, you get to goof around, you have a fucking awesome time.
Yeah.
Or you get to play these, weird sinister roles and like Get Out or whatever. But like again, he's only probably on set for like a couple of days, and it's just like,
exactly.
You get in,
films
like,
his parts.
Yeah.
Plus, he does voice acting too.
Right.
So I wonder what his fee costs for like voice acting, because in general, at least for TV, now movies may be different, but at least for TV, voice actors generally don't make the money that like other actors do, unless you're like really like obviously like the cast of The Simpsons makes really good money or something. But
right. But I mean, I've talked to, as you know, I have some credits with my name misspelled in them in the voice acting world, and they're all non-union, but like I've spoken with some people since I've been out here that have done some other voice acting stuff, and because I was curious too. I was like, man, is it like a different kind of union for just doing like voice acting stuff? No, it's all still Screen Actors Guild. So, and I'm not saying that like they shouldn't get paid more, but like for just even coming in and getting paid scale ain't bad, and comparatively I'm, comparatively to having my day job of not doing voice, like it pays a lot more.
Well, question though, what about TV then? But that's a separate, I guess, union for TV now, right?
No. That's what I'm saying. It's all the same union, so they're still getting scale. Which again, I'm not arguing that they shouldn't be getting more, or that they shouldn't be getting more, because they should, especially if you're you're a big name like Stephen Root that's drawing more people into checking that show out. Which again, you should definitely do it, if not just for his little small part. Which again, he's not like a main character in it, but every time you hear his voice, he's always doing something hilarious.
Yeah, because he was a regular voice on King of the Hill, and I feel like just every now and then, like the other day, I didn't even realize it. I was watching. I was at my parents. We were watching Rango, the animated movie about the lizard with Johnny Depp. Well, Stephen Root's a voice in that.
Makes sense. I haven't seen Rango, but I gotta assume that they probably.
I was watching. I was like, wait a minute, is that Stephen Root? I'm like, look it up. Yes, it is. So. And yeah, to me, that's that, or a voice actor, character actor, voice actor. Those seem like the career to have. Go make your money, be gone. Film your part in just a couple days, probably, depending on the scale of the shoot. But
dude, he's crossed the threshold too of like, because especially when King of the Hill was running, like they didn't want to like reuse a lot of the same like voice actors on their shows that like he was talking about it on some podcast. I can't remember. But he's finally crossed the threshold. Like it's King of the Hill has been off the air long enough to where he's actually been on. I don't know if he's been on Family Guy yet, but he has done a voice on The Simpsons finally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so he's basically any show that needs a prominent voice actor, he's been around.
Dude, and he did multiple voices on King of the Hill too. He wasn't just Bill. He was also like Buck Strickland, and
that was probably my favorite character. This book,
Buck Strickland's such a scumbag, but
such a fucking mess.
Yeah, but that's what makes him funny.
Yeah,
but yeah, if you look at like his acting credits, 276 credits. Like the guy's done a ton of work.
God,
yeah.
I want to say his first role was like Crocodile Dundee. Is that right?
Oh, let's see.
which I haven't seen. But
And everything's in here. There's both movie and TV.
yeah, talk about giving hope to a guy who came out to LA later in life to take his acting career more seriously. I think Stephen Root was about my age, if not maybe even slightly older, when he first got his first on camera role. If I'm not mistaken.
Crocodile Dundee 2, DEA agent.
Oh
And
yeah,
it says parentheses
2.
toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's like 2 different roles, or that was his character name.
And maybe that was the character name or nickname or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if he was like a talking toilet as well as a DEA agent.
1988. Yep. And then you're seeing again a lot of TV in here, just little stuff. The Golden Years, Jake and the Fat Man. All right, 2 episodes.
That was another reference that they made in Family Guy a lot that I never really got. Like I didn't even understand that like this was an actual TV show. It's like that's a weird, stupid name for a show that they just made up. Nope, actually a real thing.
It was a real Jake and the Fat Man.
Yeah, it's just the guy just like just breathing heavily in a chair and just hold up. We're gonna get.
Heck, he was even in an episode of Seinfeld. And I know I saw him in an episode of Big Bang Theory too. Like that guy just shows up everywhere.
It's the man.
Yeah. Johnny Bravo. One episode of that.
Oh yeah. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. And then obviously we know he was Milton in Office Space.
That he was.
Yeah. So I'm just saying I'd be curious what his rate as like a very established character actor is to do like a motion picture, even to do a show like Barry, where he's got a co-starring role.
I don't know. I'd say probably on par with John DiMaggio's.
Maybe.
You think? Of course, he had that whole debacle with him trying to get a raise for doing Bender. Like, did they ever disclose what his rate was?
I'm not sure. I'm sure they keep all that behind closed doors. It's just like, we were able to come to an agreement.
Yeah, so I got to assume that they're probably doing the same with Steve Root. I was just going to say if it was like, because they do kind of, versus like on camera actors, like they do kind of, try to stick it to voice actors more. Just because, we could replace you easily. Like, no, not really. Like, very few people can do John DiMaggio's voice, and then also he has the backing of a huge following. Of like, they're not gonna, tune into something where he gets replaced.
John DiMaggio is one of like the go-to voice actors right now. He has been for a number of years.
Well, as far as like, okay, like, not to say that Stephen Root doesn't have a good amount of range because he does, but like, this is what I'm saying. Of like, I feel like. And again, not to like devalue what Stephen Root does, but like I would be lucky to have a career like Stephen Root as a voice actor.
Yeah,
I have some range, but there's no fucking way I could do what John DiMaggio does. Like that guy is like there's like 5 different people living in his body that can do 70 different voices. You know what I mean?
Same, yeah. Or some of these guys you think same here. I feel like sometimes like I do voices and things pretty well. I'd probably be an okay voice actor. But you see guys like that, it's like, no way I could even,
Yeah, it's like he could have a conversation like with just himself, and it sounds like distinctly, not like he's doing 2 different voices, like it's distinctly 2 different types of people from 2 different walks of life talking to each other.
That's honestly the very impressive part. Like once you know that these are the same voice actors, sometimes you can kind of hear it. But honestly, if you didn't know, like Billy West, he does Fry. He does Zoidberg. He does the Professor. All on there. Like they all sound like distinctively different people.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And I know he does various other voices too, but those are like the 3 most prominent.
Well, I just think of like hearing or seeing John DiMaggio because he was in the first season of that one show we like to check out, which I haven't tuned in. I don't know if they've done another season of it or not. Where it's like it's a farcical of this studio that's making video games. What is it called?
Mythic
Quest.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I didn't get to see all of was it the 2nd season or whatever.
That's pretty good, man. And I don't know if they made a 3rd season yet or not. I haven't really kept up with Apple TV Plus or whatever. But fucking just hearing John DiMaggio, play like a regular guy, just his regular voice compared to like, again, I never even played the video game, but just like seeing snippets of him doing Marcus Phoenix and then doing Bender and just like, that is Jesus Christ, man. Like, I don't know how you could do that without like just blowing at your vocal cords.
Dude, and again,
yeah.
major motion picture. I'm looking up right now. He's a voice in the new Transformers, Rise of the Beasts. He's playing Stratosphere.
Right. Yeah. Dude, that makes total sense because I think, he, like, I haven't really looked into the credits for any of that, but he definitely has like the baritone, like that deep voice. He could for sure be any number of those Transformers.
Yeah. Dude, the reboot of Animaniacs, see some voices in there.
Everything's getting rebooted, man.
Yeah. Another Batman film. He was James Gordon, an animated one.
Nice.
I'm trying to see. There was something I saw. You speak of weird seeing him in a regular role. I'm trying to remember what it is. Oh, excuse me. And it was in person. It was a live role, and he was just playing. It was like a construction foreman, and it was one of those just like random. And I was like, "Whoa, is that John DiMaggio?" Like, and he's just there talking in his regular voice. It was just like a little part,
Well, that's again more credit to him too. It's just like, if you don't know who he is, if you don't know his voice acting credits, like he just blends in so well, just being an average guy. And then, of course, if you went into a room behind a curtain, you're like, oh my God, there's the voice of God and or a demon talking to me or a drunk robot. It surely cannot be coming from this totally normal looking person.
Heck, he was the voice of the Joker in one of the animated Batman films. It might have been Under the Red Hood.
All right, I give up. I quit.
Yeah. But it was on Better Call Saul. That's what it was. There was an episode I was watching, and he was the construction foreman.
Dude, I got to finish watching that show too.
Same. I haven't watched season 6 yet.
I got a little disheartened there for a minute, which I'm sure it's okay to talk about this stuff now because it's been years. But I got to audition for that show multiple times, but didn't ever get anything from it.
Man, that would have been awesome to be on.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah. But it's one of those things too, especially when it's like self-tapes, and this is before the pandemic. It's like, okay, well, and especially with self-tapes in particular, like, well, either one or two things has happened. It's like either they're seeing, my audition thinking, okay, well, he's not really right for this role, but we'll try him for this other role. Maybe that's what's happening. Like they like my auditions, but they don't like me for this role or whatever. And they're still giving me other shots. Or they keep forgetting that they've already had me audition.
Yeah. And then they bring it up and they're like, oh, yeah, this guy again.
Yeah, this asshole again.
Yeah. I thought I told you to cross his name off the list.
Yeah. They just talk to their editor, like, do me a favor. Put this on a disc. Like I have a physical copy that I can throw in the trash.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to make a point out of this guy.
Yeah. Oh, man, it was such a good show.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, honestly, I feel like that would be the kind of gig to have. Character actor or voice actor. Voice actor, you don't even have to be seen. And I saw Mark Hamill doing an interview about that where he was talking about through voice acting that the neat thing is like it allows you to play certain things like that you may not ever get to actually play in live action. Like,
oh, for sure, yeah.
Like you're playing the big muscular superhero or whatever. He's like, I don't have the right look for that. He was like, but I can play him in a voice,
Yeah, exactly, man.
Yeah.
But as you know, it's especially when there's so much exceptional talent out there, it's hard to even break into that door. People think that I'm struggling as a regular actor. Like I'll just do voice acting. Like you think like it's hard to make it as like a fucking on camera actor? Like, dude, I've spent years in the voice-over world. Like it's like I barely cracked my foot through the door.
Yeah,
like that is a small like. And of course, why would you need it to be bigger when you have exceptional talent that they can play anything?
And it seems to me in my opinion, and obviously I've never worked professionally as a voice actor, but one thing that I think is the hardest part is creating original voices. Like, it's one thing to try and do an impression or even like an impression of maybe a real person who existed, but if you've got to audition for a show that's just being created, you all that happens is the director's kind of got this vision, and maybe he doesn't even really know exactly what he wants, and you've got to create an original voice.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound corny.
So I mean, I guess that's the next aspiration, I guess, to say for me as like a voice actor, is because all the stuff like that I've done, for credits for like in big shows and stuff is just the dubs, the English dubs, right? So it's not necessarily like they're looking for a unique, distinct voice. They're looking for a type to fill this kind of thing,
Yeah.
which, again, and they're all small parts. So it's not like anything, any crazy, unique stuff. Like, they just want to, Goofy, do Goofy voice for playing this baboon, or maniacally laughing cannonball, or scared villager. It's not like, oh well, now's your time to really knock it out of the park with these two lines of
Yeah, on little side characters.
yeah.
Yeah. But hey, that's still credits, that's
No. I'm not trying to put that down as in like it's. I'm psyched to be doing that kind of stuff. Like I said, it's taken years to even get that to be in that world, but like, yeah, that would be the ultimate goal of like to be able to like, especially now that I'm out here, where God willing, I can get a union job one of these days, and be able to get like a distinct voice that is crafted to my own stupid personality that I can get on an animated show that other people are trying to
honestly,
replicate.
You get a union job. I mean, I'm not saying like you're set from there, but because you're not necessarily.
Definitely
I mean,
not.
sometimes that could be just the one thing. At least then you're in the union, and
Well, it definitely opens the door to like, I don't know. I've gotten pretty lucky just because of the connections I made when I got out here, and having some of the connects I made before I got out here, of like most agencies or managers don't even want to deal with you if you're not union, but because I have so many other colleagues that are and that vouch for me, that's helped me get representation. But like, I would assume that, again, if I get an actual job where I could join the union, that would open more doors for bigger projects. Because right now, again, I don't know, I'm just at this phase right now where like a few months ago it was just awesome. Like, oh, finally I'm back to auditioning again. And it's regular, and it's it's some weeks more than I can keep up with. I have to decline some, but like, but it's not like the projects aren't like they're not dream projects. They're not. Most of them aren't for TV shows. Most of them are for commercials. Which again, good problems to have, but like that's the next level, is to I, I'm psyched to be out here once again auditioning for stuff, but like I didn't move out here to be a commercial actor.
yeah. I mean, and that's kind of I don't know, whatever term you want to use, catch 22 or double edged sword, whatever. Like, you could always say, well, that's a good place to start, but at the same time, you don't want to be stuck doing that.
Well, the good thing is, right, is like, because there's so much new media around now, there's like the stigma of just being a commercial actor doesn't really exist anymore, not like it used to,
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just me bitching. Like, everything takes time,
Yeah.
But so yeah, but that is obviously the end goal, which I don't think that should be much of a surprise to hear that an actor wants to be in good things.
Yeah, that an actor actually wants to be in like big budget feature films. Like, yeah, that's
Blowing
generally
people's
pretty
minds. I know.
yeah, that's generally pretty much everyone that I know that's trying to go for that kind of thing, what their end goal is.
But it's I don't know. It's been interesting. It's been inspiring in a lot of ways, man. And ironic that since I moved out here, people that I knew in Texas, and from what I can see, have mostly stayed around that area. But again, it's like, you got to remember though, like, it's slim chances, regardless of living in Texas, or LA, but I would argue even slimmer chances like living in Texas. But like a guy I used to be in a acting class with, he's in the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Well, he was. This is actually his second project that he's worked with James Gunn on. And did you watch the new Suicide Squad movie?
Yeah, I did. The
He was
one with
like,
Idris Elba.
yeah, he was one of the whatever the fake country they were in or whatever. He was like one of the military people.
Oh,
Um,
that's cool.
yeah, and then he's like playing an alien or something in this other one. He's a nice guy. Geraldo Devilla is his name, I think. I don't really know him that well, but anyways, we had the same acting teacher, and then I just saw on Facebook today that an old buddy I used to run with doing stand up right before I got out here was doing shows at the Comedy Store and the Laugh Factory.
Nice.
You know, it's not like he's a featured act, but still, that's huge, man. Guy from
Yeah.
Dallas, you know, just coming out here just to do that stuff. So it's inspiring. It just like reminds me, hey, I gotta get off my old keister
There's
and
a
get back in
guy
there.
around here. I didn't really know him that well, but they used to have an open mic night at Hat Tricks up here on Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
And his name was Jamie something.
Jamie Gravett.
Could have been.
He used to go by Jamie Gravy.
That might have been it.
It's him. It's exactly. I know what you're talking about. He opened for Eddie Griffin for a
Yeah,
while.
apparently like his career was actually doing pretty good there for a while. You
I'd
know?
still argue that he's still doing pretty good. He does.
I got no idea what he's up to now. I just remember some people that knew him at the time telling me, they're like, oh, he did this and he was on this. And I was like, oh, dang. So he's actually
Yeah.
like a working comic. He's not just coming here and hosting this. And
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think he headlines at like Hyenas and stuff. And on that again, it's like I don't really know him that well. Like I knew my buddy Shiva, who was out here doing the Comedy Store and stuff. I hung out with him, but like I think I met Jamie in passing, maybe. Like we're friends on Facebook, so that must be how that happened. But yeah, no, he seems like he's doing pretty good, man.
well, that's good.
Yeah, yeah. Again, don't really know him that well. Seems like a nice guy,
Dude, and do you remember Corey Cannon from high school?
Yeah,
I guess he's doing something. I don't know. I just occasionally see updates on social media. I haven't talked to the guy in years.
yeah.
But
He's
I know he's
working.
doing like stunts there for a while, but it seems like he's actually had some roles in some stuff here.
Well, he's I think he's doing a lot of stuff with Twyla Barnett, who is she's more known in the Dallas area. She's located in Weatherford, actually.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I had a meeting with her, a short meeting with her right when I got out of college. But her sons are more known for Bug Hall is her son.
Oh, I remember you telling me about her.
Yeah.
Her son being okay. I didn't realize that was the same lady. Okay.
So she runs like a little acting academy out there, like mostly like child actors and stuff. And then like her other son, what his name escapes me. He was like you remember the Wedding Singer?
Yeah.
The little kid who comes up to Robbie's ex-fiance and goes, "Elena, yo a bitch."
Yeah.
That's her other son. And he runs or did, I don't know if he still does, but he ran like a stunt program. And I think that's what Corey got involved with that, and he got more involved with her. From what I can tell, anyways. I've had very few interactions with him, since we've been out of school. He asked me about like something for like making an independent film that looks like, just aspirational. They made like some kind of indie western, or there's a trailer for it anyways. I don't know if it's just a promo trailer, if it's a real thing or not.
Well, that's cool.
But yeah, it seems like he's picking himself up by the independent filmmaker bootstraps and going for that route.
All right.
Which kudos to him, man. Like I said, that stuff's inspiring to see. I don't know if I told you that earlier, but so the little mockumentary we just got our award for the best mockumentary.
Yeah.
I getting a little gravel in my voice there. I think I'm subconsciously trying to become John DiMaggio in one way or another.
Yeah.
But I started writing a spinoff for that, for my character in that thing. So
okay,
we'll see how that goes. start utilizing the connections I have out here. But early stages. I know I was talking about it for a while, and I still had to finish it, but I got a solid 8 pages or so knocked out so far, which is good for a pilot for a web series. But I think
Have you put it into Chat GPT? Maybe it can help you take it all the way.
maybe,
Yeah,
but it's
I'm thinking about using it to help me write something. I don't know
dude,
what.
it's a good tool.
It is. The nice thing is, I found it really helps for like if nothing else, writer's block. It can at least just
Sure, man.
spitball
Yeah.
ideas and get you going, and you can be like, "Oh man, I didn't think of that," and it's like, cool.
Yeah,
now I've
man.
got something to work with, and like, yeah,
Yeah, from the producers of Chicken Run and The Godfather.
Godfather comes. Wings galore or Wings of Glory to be decided.
Yeah. TBD.
Yeah, TBD. Yeah. But all right, man. It's getting about that time. I'm gonna have to cut it off.
I was gonna say, yeah, I was waiting for you to tell me when, because with unlike our other app that we used to use, which I guess we're not gonna be using that anymore, that actually had a timer for how long we've been running. But here it doesn't. No timer. So just as long as we go is as long as we go, I guess.
Oh
But
yeah,
we'll have to be more
looking at
cognizant of the time
yeah.
when we started.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has been an interesting one.
Yeah, this one's been a little bit more of another introspective episode, another discussion topic.
Which we'll have to get a little more atrospective. Yes, that's a word. That's a phrase. People use it all the time.
I mean, I would argue that introspective implies the existence of outrospective.
Yes, we'll get more outrospective on the next episode, and we'll try to come up with some more talking points, some more bits. Maybe bring a subject for us, Sir John.
I'll have to think up another one.
Yeah. Well, enjoy your Uncle Lucius.
I will.
And if you get to the bottom of who the actual uncle is, please do let us know.
Okay, I guess outrospective is a word, and it was actually the third album of a band called Faithless in 2001.
Boom. I had faith that Faithless made that a word for me.
Cool.
So there you go.
So outrospective is a thing.
All right. Well, hey man, enjoy your concert. Say what's up to old Easy. Is that who you're going to the concert with?
Well, he gave me the tickets, but I guess something's come up. His wife's doing something. He's got to watch the baby. He's not able to go.
My name's Aaron Eads. I have a small child. I have to watch over.
I have a wife and a family.
Responsibilities.
People love me. Yeah.
Viewers and listeners, just so you know, I sound exactly like him. That was a spot-on impression.
Both of us sound exactly like him.
All right. Well.
All right.
Yeah. I'll see you later, man.
Okay.
Later, bye. How about that for a second episode of the second season, dear listener? Yes, sir, we took a stroll down old memory lane of the cartoons that made us. And I whined incessantly about my ambitions slowly coming to fruition. What a whiny titty baby I can be, dear listener. And I would like to apologize for that, but I won't, because the older I get, the more I have learned to accept that's just a part of who I am. Not all the time, but at least sometimes. And I've learned to embrace that part of myself. Not necessarily, make it my main component, but also not shame myself for sometimes being a baby who requires a titty to complain about. I think we all sometimes have a bit of the baby of titty in us and can be impatient. And that's okay, as long as we learn eventually to hone the patience of our impatience. Also helps is that I've been having a good visit with my acting buddy Joel, who we mentioned on this podcast a few times. And essentially, through most of the visit, I I did a good chunk of that, and while he didn't steer me necessarily in the direction, it's nice to just be cognizant of how much of hearing yourself sometimes and saying, well, I sure am whining about good things happening in my life, and now is a time for me to stop doing that. For the time being, like I've got it off my chest. I've whined the titty babies right off my titties, and now I'm just feeling humble and grateful for the opportunities that I've had, dear listener, in this past year. It's been a roller coaster filled with ups and downs, a lot of wheeze and a lot of woes. But in the end, I'm pretty happy with where I'm at in life. I could be better, but I venture to say most of us have the same argument with our lives. But you know what? Still not a bad place to be. So if you're out there thinking, I could be better, but on second thoughts, I ain't too shabby where I'm at, good on you. Good on you. And take that victory of thought and carry it with you. And try to hold on to it for a long period of time, almost as long as your insistent bitching. See if you can, match those two. Make a graph or a pie chart, Really just get deep into it. Or just let whatever I'm saying wash right over your face and earballs. Because at the end of the day, as I do with every ending of this podcast, I'm just talking right out of my keister. And that, dear listener, I have also learned to accept. Acceptance and reminiscence, I think, is the theme of this episode. We reminisce on the things that we've come to accept or struggle to accept, and accept acceptance. And in accepting that, things happen in life. And those things usually are good, but also sometimes bad. And words are still coming out of my mouth. And with that, I'd like to say, in closing as always, Como se llama hermana? Lo siento palapento. Good night, all my fellow North Texans. All my peeps up in the North Tejas. Sweet dreams, all my fellow Angelinos. And for everyone in between, have a nice helping of some self-esteem and sweet dreams. For this has been another episode of the Big Boys Podcast.
Big Boys is a podcast produced by Not So Funny or Proud Productions. The team consists of co-hosts, co-producers, and co-editors Brian Hickey and John Sorrells, better known as John the Great. For more information about the duo or this show, please visit us at bigboyspodspot.com. Or feel free to take a gander at our production page, notsofunnyorproud.com. Look us up on social media and follow us at Big Boys Podspot. New episodes drop every Thursday on every popular podcast hosting platform known to man. So please be sure to like, subscribe, vibe, describe, contrive, confide, collide, abide, preside, tell your tribe, and most importantly, do prescribe. Me and Elixir for talking out the side of my neck.